stated. Don't you know? Bitcoin goes to the moon. Don't you know? Pump it up. You've got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up.
All right. I'm going to have to get these guys to make a new one. Who is this? Leet Guy. Leet Guy. You got to make a new one, man. That's 8 months old. We need some progress to be made here. Hopefully he's still around. He hasn't made anything in 8 months. Hopefully he is still around. But yeah. Am I excited today? Somebody said Jesse must be extra. Benedict says Jesse must be extra excited today to start a half an hour early. I think that's true. I also have an incentive too. I have contractors coming over at 9:30. I still need to get my 3-mile hike in. I like to sweat and feel a lot of pain in the morning. It's been helping me out a lot. So we got to do that too. If you look at the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see that we are above the next fib line. I'm actually perfectly okay with this. I hope we end up seeing something kind of like what we saw over here, where we got above the fib, we grinded above it. That is the time that you will see things really pop. That is the time that the Bitcoin miner shorts have no recourse but to get the fuck out. And so that's the time that you're going to see the aggressive buying, and I'm really excited for that time to be coming. In pre-market, we've got Sequoians up 24% right now. We've got SBET up 14% right now. We've got things like Solt up 2.5%. We've got DFDV up 2% after a 10% run on Friday. Upexi up 10% after being up 8% on Friday, and just a bunch more. Smarter Web Company does look like it's down in pre-market, at least in the UK edition, down 0.26%. But honestly, we've talked about this before, but it's going to be MicroStrategy that breaks out first. It's always the bigger vessels that break out first, guys. That's just the way it works. And don't fret if we're dipping a little bit this morning, if we're a little dippity. That is perfectly okay. This is the place where we want to grind. This is it. Better here than underneath the fib. Breaking above it, getting to 123 and change is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Again, if you're looking in the bottom right-hand corner, that's what you want to see. This is the area to consolidate before going higher. And just a reminder, the next step higher is roughly 138,000. So maybe I should just do this. So here's where we are, guys. Here's where we are. And this is just the next leg higher. There will be resistance. There'll be a medium-term resistance line that I've marked up here in red around that time. This would be a good profit-taking zone. I don't know that this is right down here, albeit I might take some profits. I'm also going to buy $250,000 worth of Tesla this morning because I think it's Tesla's time, slowly but surely, to go up. Any thoughts on? No, none whatsoever, Akash. I don't have any. Coincilium, let's just look at this chart real quick here. So Coincilium did go down 82% in a very rapid fashion, and then it very rapidly tested lower. And it's bounced up, but I mean, it's probably dropped harder than the Smarter Web Company. If we look at the Smarter Web Company over that same period of time, we can see that it dropped, and then ignore these crazy wicks. That's just insanity. I think it's technical errors too. So it dropped 70%, and it might not seem like a big difference between 70 and 82%, but it's actually monumentally different of a number. So I don't know. You drop a lot, you go up a lot. And don't get me wrong, I own Coincilium. I haven't sold any. Game, I don't know. Game is like the shittiest version of this. It is under the Ethereum treasury category. It is a $78 million market cap, so super YOLO. It is up 1.11% in pre-market, and it could go a lot higher. BMNR, it briefly had dipped under 40 in the Robinhood 24/7 markets, but I think it's coming back around right now. And again, SBET, guys, SBET's only up almost 14% in pre-market. Still has 30% go to fill this fucking gap. Why shitty, though? Oh, I mean, it's a smaller cap, so there's more risk. I say things like that because it's again, much greater risk. It's not like a company like the Smarter Web Company that's just crushing it on all levels and doing really great and has great leadership and has a great plan and has backers like Michael Saylor, right? Like you're not seeing that. So that's why I say shit, because it's a much more speculative bet. Gary says, Jesse, will you look to explore some Tesla options? Not really. I'm not looking. I've said this a bunch of times. I'm not looking to. Ninja, big time streamer, is in game. Okay, cool. Well, that's great. Doesn't really mean much to me, but that's cool. But it is nice to have extra marketing, so that could be helpful. But yeah, so I don't speculate. I don't speculate with options this late in the game. I think that markets have done really well. I just want to, maybe we need to look at that. So right here, we're in extreme greed in the stock market right now. So do I like looking at options in extreme greed territory? Not really. Were options maybe a better idea for most things down here in April when the S&P was at 4,800? Probably. Is it a really smart option today with us sitting around 6,300? Probably not as much. And don't get me wrong, like I think we still have 40% of what we've returned since down here sitting in front of us on the S&P. I do think the S&P will underperform, at least underperform things like the NASDAQ. And then I think the NASDAQ will underperform Bitcoin. But I don't, again, this is the time where I start to de-lever. For anybody who's been here a while, this is the time where we start pulling back. And let's see how bad we are underneath the Bitcoin and crypto fears here. Where are you at with RG? I own a bunch of it. I bought calls, I think, that go out as far as December of 2026. Let's see. January of 2027, actually. It looks like a lot of the money that I put into it is June of 2026, $48 strike, and then January of 2027, $40 strike. Feels pretty good to be in those. I feel like between June and January of 2027, they could do really well. If they all go to dust, it doesn't really matter because, again, I do multiple asymmetric bets pointed in different directions. Makes me shit tons of money. Finam, thank you for becoming a member. Now you can talk and chat. Let's see here. Jesse, your chest is looking like the Bitcoin pump. Yeah, I can bounce them too. See, look at that. Isn't that cool? All right. Let's see here. Not as exciting as if I was a woman. That's for sure. Dookie Pie, that's a great name. Pulling back means loading up $250,000 on Tesla. Yeah, well, I'm just buying the underlying, right? I'm only buying $250,000 worth of the stock. I'm not getting leveraged plays, which is a big difference when you incorporate time that can turn you to dust if your time is wrong. That's a very different play than just buying Tesla. All right. So anyway, 70 on the CMC, CoinMarketCap, Crypto Fear and Greed Index, which again, I think is the more reliable. You can see here when it gets up into extreme fear, it generally is a time where, it's time to take some profits. Even though I believe we can go into here for a very long time. Because if you look over here in 2024, this thing was up here for a while. Over here, it was up here for a while. I do think we'll start to see things like that again. No TSLL. Nope. Again, not looking to do leveraged bets. That's a leveraged bet. It's a 2x fund that has theta decay and all the bad things that we don't like. Could turn out to be a really good bet, but I am deleveraging at this part of the cycle. Again, my goal is only 12 million. I think I can get 20 between now and here and the end of the year. That's not a bad place to be, right? Like I wouldn't hate that number. Also, if we look at the Trueflation Index, we're still around 1.71, very low on the inflation side of things. If we look at the economic indicators for today, let's just look over here. So Sunday, a bunch of stuff out of Japan, industrial production year over year, negative 2.4%. Looks like slowing. Capacity utilization is up higher, though. That's a good thing. Not too much going on in Japan, though. M2 money supply increasing in China. Who could have seen that? New won loans increasing in China. So total social financing increasing in China. Outstanding loan growth slightly less than expected. Well, I mean, above consensus and then decently beneath the forecast, but still very expansionary in nature. Inflation rate in India, 2.1%, lower than expected. Who could have seen that coming? Inflation going down. The The exact opposite narrative of all these really smart economists, except for this one. All right, let's look, though. Today, what do we have for the U.S.? We got nothing. We got jack shit. That's all we got today, guys. So no economic data to speak of today. Tomorrow, we got core inflation-related data and CPI. So tomorrow will be the big day, it looks like. And then we'll have more throughout the week. But today, going to be stupid boring. We will be looking at Fundstrat today. I should actually go back here. Again, my buddy Tom Lee, please ignore the fact that I'm sharing your premium content that costs you a bunch of money, or costs people normally a bunch of money. And thank you for letting me do it without suing me, bro. I help out Tom Lee. Tom, he helps me out. I help him out. I feel like it's all good. He's actually becoming more and more of a friend. I let him know about... I shouldn't say that. Never mind. Shutting my fucking mouth now. Anyway, keep going. We got a Flash Insights, July 13th at 10:12 p.m. Tom, get some fucking sleep, bro. Equity futures are under some pressure due to this headline from Reuters, 30% Mexico tariffs and EU, actually. Keep in mind, this is a part of the public negotiating tactics with Mexico, so I would not overreact to this. I agree. Let's see what else we got. Do we have any new videos? We got a technical from Mark Newton, a technical perspective on the Bitcoin breakout. Kind of interested in that. Discretionary nearing intermediate term resistance after a sharp run up. I agree with that. I don't even need to see that to agree with that. Sean Farrell says, is he Farrell or is he Farrell? I don't know. I guess it depends on the day. MicroStrategy positioned to benefit from potential S&P inclusion. Pump set up to open strong. And bonk re-rating is still in play. So we got some bonking over here. I don't know. Nothing too interesting on this front. Let me see. We might get an FS Insight this morning. We are a little early today, so I might check back on that and see what he has to say. I love this image of Trump. It's a good one. All right, so we're going to come back. We're going to come back and see if there's anything really interesting here. I do agree with all these comments, though. I think it's all very true. Aren't you worried about a fake weekend pump go take out of leverage just to dump during market hours again? Who hurt you, Tyler? Probably the markets for the last 16 months. That's my guess. RS, hey, Jesse, have calls expiring early August for MSTR in the money and in profits. 5% of my portfolio. What would you do? Hang on or sell? That is such a short fucking period of time. I think that MicroStrategy is getting ready to take off. But I also really hate the fact that they're only till August, probably like mid-August. So it's up to you, bro. It's always going to be up to you. It's not going to be up to me. I'm not giving financial advice. I'm just giving my thoughts on different questions that come up. It's probably going to do good. But again, time is such a dangerous factor when it comes to this stuff. I look at it this way. I would rather look back and say, oh, hey, I left some money on the table, than look back and say, I left all the money on the table. It's all gone. That's just me. So maybe be prudent and take some profits, not financial advice. Again, just me talking about my personal experiences and my thoughts. Aren't any hedging strategies brewing? Not really. Not right now. My hedging strategy is decoupling as we go up from multipliers. I don't really have a lot of hedging strategies right now. I try not to get into hedging too early, and I just think it's way too early. We have 40x the demand versus the new supply of Bitcoin. 22 times in ETFs, and then probably a little close to 20 on Bitcoin treasuries. And Bitcoin treasuries are getting more robust, more interesting. People are getting more excited. So do I think that's a good time to start hedging? Not really. I mean, you could maybe, what is it, Biddy? Biddy is one that you could look to hedge with. Again, I think cash is kind of a hedging strategy. I do have over $480,000 in that. A little less after I buy $250,000 worth of Tesla. Let me see here. The Tesla run in this cycle wasn't this high. The Tesla run this cycle has been, I mean, it hasn't even had a cycle. Hasn't even had one, bro. Tesla. Oh, Tesla, my Asla. I can't wait. I can't wait until my garage looks cooler than Jeremy's. That's going to be fucking awesome. So let's see. What have we done? We're in phase 4, guys. We're in phase 4 of consolidation. Here's the previous phases. Phase 1, a ripper, 1,840%. Phase 2 got really bad. It got really bad. Why? Model 3s were being built in fucking tents. So phase 3, or I should say phase 2 consolidation to break out into its blow up in phase 2 was only 174%. Then we had several years of consolidation again in phase 3 while we figured out the Model Y. But then the Model 3, and then the Model Y delivery kicked off. I need to get my milestones back in here again too. That'd be kind of fun. The Model Y delivery kicked off. People thought it was going to be another Model 3 event, but it wasn't. And then, we had a huge return when, this is split adjusted from 1167 all the way up to 411. Imagine that, 1167 to 411. And then people are surprised by years of consolidation after going up over 3,000% in a period of about 2 years. In hindsight, it's very clear that was what was going to happen just based on math. But now we're wrapping up phase 4 consolidation, the longest of all of them, even if you add 2 and 3 together, and we're looking to pump. And I think that just very easily over the short term, the remainder of this year, we have this head and shoulder, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, very strong bounce. Getting close. That 342 mark, when we get back up there, I think third time is a charm. Didn't do it here, didn't do it here. I think here we do it. We break out and we start pushing up to the 550 mark. So I think we're finally getting ready to have the next phase. The breakout phase, phase 4, the breakout for Tesla. And I think that will be very exciting. Just remember everything that's going on with Tesla. Remember everything that's going on with XAI. Think about the narrative change when robotaxi is expanding out and at the same time where Tesla's investing in XAI. Just think about that narrative change. And then people are seeing, and what, Elon Musk just said that he was just at the design studio and they're going to have the greatest product release they've ever had coming before the end of this year. Probably nothing, right? SBET, baby. SBET. Sergeant Squid likes his SBET. Probably because it's up 15% in pre-market. That's my guess. And it's still got, let's see here, a little less than 30% now. 22% to close the gap. Could that happen today? Sure. Could we see like a 30, 40% pump on SBET today? Maybe. I mean, I think we could. Ethereum's starting to break out. Ethereum's going to 4,000, guys. People don't want to believe it because some people just hate Ethereum. I mean, don't get me wrong. Vlad is a weird motherfucker. But it's happening. We talked about this last week, how we were pushing on the edge of glory with the 50 and the 100 weekly moving averages and how we were going to start to break out. It's a real easy 30% to the next fib. What happens to SBET when Ethereum goes 30 fucking percent in a couple of weeks? What happens to SBET? It's probably going to look real juicy, right? It's probably a multiplier to what MicroStrategy can do over that same period of time. UPXI for exposure. Yeah, that'll give you some exposure to Solana. But yeah, so I think Ethereum can go to 10,000 this cycle. I believe that. I didn't believe that before, but I do believe it now. And why do I believe it now? Because of Tom Lee and Vlad Tenev. They gave it renewed life, and Tom Lee is really pushing it, and that can only do good things for it. We got the Tesla mug today. I feel like if you're going to buy $250,000 in Tesla stock, you probably should get a Tesla mug out, right? That's the way it feels to me. So Tesla up 1.24% in pre-market. Loving that. Keep on doing your thing, Tesla. Show the world that Tesla my Esla is not dead, and show Jeremy that he has been a fucking idiot. Up 17% on SBET now, guys. SBET appears to be very happy this morning. I love that. It means I'm just richer and richer. I don't know if today will be $1 million day. I would love for it to be. Feels like consolidation. During consolidation, we've talked about this before. We should actually probably look at some posts. Should we do that? Let's transition over here. SQNS up 21% in pre-market. I know, I own that one too. It's actually only 23% right now, though. Let's not be overly dramatic. I'm kidding. Probably was at one point. Yeah, so let's go down. Again, if you guys could, 200 likes is great. 42 comments just is not enough. It's super easy to comment. Even if you're timid and you're not a big sharer, you could comment super easy. It's like A. You could go like A and then hit enter. That would be a comment technically. That's all it takes. Comment for the algo. Let's talk about that algo. Yes, sir. Thank you for the comment, my friend. And again, Sequoians, why is it doing so well today? They purchased an additional 683 Bitcoin for $79 million at an average price of $116,213. They got no chill. And we hodl 1,053 Bitcoin acquired, 120 million on average. These guys are coming into the game fast. Very fast. Ben Workman must have said, buy, because that's what they're doing. We also have over 25% short interest on CleanSpark. And there's so many people dismayed with CleanSpark. And guys, if you're looking for your July calls on CleanSpark to make you a bunch of money, unless they're $15 strikes, I wouldn't count on getting anything at all. And again, with your options, you need to be above your strike. So hopefully your strike was like $13. And then you'll be getting in the money. But I expect mine to go to dust. All $14,000 worth. I've got 9,100 contracts in the month of July alone that will expire worthless. So unless you're really close to that strike, I wouldn't expect anything, guys. I really wouldn't. But this is the time to break out. And I still think we'll just pull it up here. I still think that there's a possibility of 50 for CleanSpark. That is a 300% return. That would get this bad boy up to what? $14 billion. That might be a little high, though. The .618 is the golden retracement zone at $33. That would get us closer to about $8 billion, which is a very reasonable number. Nothing too crazy. Either way, these are really good numbers where I expect to make a lot of money off my options contracts that are still left. And those contracts are in September and November for $20 strikes. 20. So very easily accomplished, I feel like. Should make back all my losses and then some. Again, Bitcoin miners were not the play. They were not the play. But with all the short interest that sits on them today, roughly 25% for CleanSpark, this would be a good day to get double digits, 10%, maybe 15% gains. At least test that 13, 50, 14 level today. I'm telling you, could happen. Jesse, do we think that Elon is buying Bitcoin to add to his collection? No, probably not. But it would be smart of him to. I've also been saying this for several weeks, but I want to reiterate it right now, and I'm going to increase the size here because it's just not big enough. I need to get to the zoom-in phase. Bitcoin will outperform broader markets in the weeks and months ahead. I've been saying it. It's happening. I hope you guys are paying attention. Again, if you could hit the like, guys, it is appreciated. I work hard for you. I'm not asking much to hit the like button. I don't feel like that's you working hard for me. I don't feel like it is. So if you guys could do that, if you're here. Gemini Knight, Jesse, so even with crypto and greed, it's possible for ETH to push to 4K. Yes, you will have, we're in a phase where you will have outperformers. And yes, we're in greed, but we're barely in greed. If you look at this index, the CMC, which is the one I like the most, if you look here, I mean, it's very possible for this thing to get up into extreme greed, into the 90s, and then ride that bitch for months. We are in the parabolic phase, guys. This is the phase where shit goes wild. So, yes, I do think that that's possible. I do love the fact that we're grinding slightly above the golden retracement zone. It's a beautiful thing. And I said in this post right here, I said, I'm going to count this as being right yet again. Oh, that was the wrong chart. I hit the wrong thing. I need to be in here. Okay. I said, I'm going to count this as being right again. Why do I say that? Because I said 121K this weekend. And I corrected Bitcoin Munger and said that we're gonna crush some shit by Monday. And that was true. I said, but wait, we're already above the fib. Is it possible that we just keep going all the way to 138,000 without any chill? Why, yes, I think we will. And there might be some chill. Maybe there's a week's chill. Maybe there's a week's chill just to, again, consolidate well to get the RSI in a better place before a major breakout. But the Bitcoin treasuries aren't slowing down. The Bitcoin miners are set to explode. And all of this, and all at a time, guys, where retail sentiment is non-existent and just starting. Let's look here. Patience, patience, patience. I agree. So again, are we getting some retail FOMO? Yeah, little bits, little baby bits. But if we go back to 2004 to present, let's compare this with historical. Here is, and again, normally each cycle, these things got bigger because of economies of scale, right? So a couple of cycles ago in 2011, we were reaching peaks here and we got up to here. And then back in 2013, we ended up peaking out over here roughly, and that cycle. And so it got bigger. And then over here in 2017, we saw some crazy euphoria. I still make the argument that we would have seen something like that in 2021, but the Fed started raising rates at the most aggressive rate in history, and it neutered it. We would have at least, I think, gotten close to that level. And here's where we are now. 3 shades of jack shit. So I think we're in a really good place. I think we're nowhere near overextended. History tells us we can get there really quickly, though, because if you look over here, October 2024, October 20th of 2024, we were in the 16 realm, which was pretty close to what we were sitting at more recently. And then what happened? We got all the way up here to the 74th percentile of this range 5 years that brought us back to 2021. So in a hurry, we can scream higher. That's the thing I want you guys to understand. Jesse, muchas gracias for posting my Tesla referral link. Hope to buy later this year. Are you maxed out, Drunk Donkey? Are you maxed out? If you're maxed out, we'll randomly pick somebody else. So if you're maxed out, let me know, dude, and we'll move on to somebody else. Because I'm already maxed out. We might as well pass on the love to whoever else is around, right? Alex Garcia, hardest thing on my investing is knowing when to sell, take profits. So that's what I'm best at. I'm best at when to take profits, and I'm best at when to buy on swings. So if you like that kind of stuff, if you want to figure out how to swing trade, I am actually the man for those things. So you come to the right place, I feel like. My computer's getting laggy. Hopefully my session does not lag. And then I resized all my windows, and so now I have to click this button in Trading View to get it to where I can see the percentages again. Kind of a nightmare. Wish I wouldn't have done it. Got to be very aware of your surroundings, guys. Unless you're driving a car, then I barely pay attention because I got my Tesla. I can't wait to see my Cybertruck, guys, in this house. I'd show you a picture of it, but I don't want all you stalker fucks knowing where I might be living since it's a different house, and I already exposed myself once on that previous house that I was looking at buying. Let's see here. Not screens. Sorry. I could use more Tesla credits. Nice. Any interest in sharing Hood affiliate links for gold cards? I think I have that, actually. Let's just go back over here, guys. So, again, at the top of my screen, I share my portfolio. I did update this. It shows the last 5 years of performance. We're getting to my all-time high again of 7 million, or right at 7 million. Today, we're probably sitting at 6 in pre-market if we stay where we are. And you can see where my low of 2024 was, where my low of 2025 is, 2.58 million. So again, doing in a good place with 6 million. Definitely seeing continued growth towards that 12 million goal, up 610,000 in a week. Not too bad. I did sell MetaPlanet, again, some of it. I still own roughly 700,000, I think, or 600,000. And then, let's just show you the percentages and we'll talk about it. So the Smarter Web Company I added to. Mara continued to go up. I didn't add shit. Aspect continued to go up. I didn't add shit. CleanSpark continued to go up. I didn't add anything. 9% cash. And again, that is mostly for my house, but I'm going to dispose of some of that into Tesla today. And again, the rest of these, just adding little bits of things that I think could be high multipliers and could grow their pie quite a bit. So this pie is probably going to be looking pretty evenly distributed, and there'll be no clear winners on it, I don't think, soon. But referral links, I think I've got a Robin. I don't know if I have the gold card. I've got a Robinhood referral link. FSN sites, TradingView, SoFi, Tesla, all the things I use, right, are down here. And if you want to join the Discord, this is where you can join it. Don't click on links underneath, man. They're all fucking scammers. Make sure you go to my pinned profile. That's why I put it there. Hey, Jesse, I sold my SBET for a 20% profit. Do you think I should rebuy or wait for a prop? I don't know, man. Again, I wasn't selling in large quantities at all last week, and there's a reason for that, because I find a lot of people each cycle, especially at the end, at the parabolic phase, they get excited and they sell all their shit too early, and then they miss the ride. So I hope you don't miss the ride. But it sucks to chase, right? Because now it's up 16% in pre-market, and you're like, fuck, did I do the wrong thing, and should I buy it back now up 16% higher than where I sold it? And maybe you're close. If you're close to where you sold it, personally, I would get back in. But that's just me. Again, not financial advice. Midwest, thank you for joining. You can speak in chat now. All right, let's keep going. We got more to talk about. So we talked about CleanSpark. We talked about Bitcoin doing well and maybe continuing to go higher. We like where it's consolidating. As it consolidates, we expect shit coins like Ethereum to do really well. And Tom Lee says that Ethereum is the internet and it's not a competitor to Bitcoin. I kind of agree with that. Maybe, as a potential. Dalton Brewer says, breaking, Elon Musk just said he left Tesla Design Studio and the most epic demo ever will be revealed by the end of the year. Again, I would be bullish for that. I've made this comment numerous times for the last several years for anybody who's been here, but I've said the largest vessels, the bigger vessels, fill first. Gold filled first, right? And then came Bitcoin. And now that Bitcoin has been filling, what's coming next? MicroStrategy. Once MicroStrategy fills, what's going to come next? Things like Metaplanet. And again, we get this other, like Mara, CleanSpark, they aren't bigger vessels, but they have a massive short squeeze. So we'll make exceptions to some of those rules. But it is MicroStrategy's turn to run. It is the biggest vessel for Bitcoin containers right now, outside of ETFs cumulatively, which we will not count. And so it's time to run, and it can run 67% in a very short period of time. I do believe that. Strategy just posted they purchased another 4,200 Bitcoin. That's a big purchase for Strategy, guys. I feel like we need to say hi to that one. Let's look here real quick at our boy, Michael fucking Saylor. Michael Saylor, the beast of all beasts when it comes to Bitcoin accumulation. There is no... Oh, wait. Little Bubbles got a new video? What?
Ever take some off the table when you sense them?
Okay. We're going to go out with this one, guys. I need to add this super fast to my YouTube intros. The blockchain group bought too. We're going to talk about a lot of that. There's a lot of buy-in, guys. There's a lot of buying Bitcoin is a popular thing right now. And again, SBET, we've been saying this for a while. We bought it at $9. Hey guys, does $9 feel pretty good today at 25? Chat, tell me if it does. Tell me if it does, chat. How many people are here today? Do we even know? Does anybody know? I don't know if I know. Let me see here. I need to move this shit around. I can't see. 1 second. I need to move this. How many people we got here? 962. We're still starting. Please hit the like if you could, guys. But yeah, I'm going to say that SBET at $9, much more yummy than 24, 25. So we've broken the 4+ year downtrend. So Kevin Svensson, I don't know why he's actually doing this. He's looking, maybe he's not. He's not. Maybe some other people are. Or maybe he is. I don't know. Is he looking at... He should be looking at... No, he doesn't even have log on. Why are you doing this, Kevin? You're not an amateur. What the fuck? So I said we've broken the 4+ year downtrend. Why did I say that? Because I don't look at things in log scale. That's why. I don't know why I can't see comments here. But if you look at things in log, it looks like we haven't broken out of it, and that is really not the way to look at an asymmetric bet over multi-year time frame. Logarithmic is meant to help you find signal from noise with really parabolic entities over longer periods of time. So I pretty much use log almost all of the time. Almost all of the time. And you should too. If you're looking at 10-year periods of time, you shouldn't be looking at Bitcoin's chart without log. Jesse, looking to get back into BMNR anytime soon? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm in no rush. If it gets down to my targets, again, BMNR, this is the Bitminer one that Tom Lee was doing. It could rocket. It could rocket here. I'm actually thinking that it could go a little bit lower, though. I'm thinking it could go to 35, and I drew it all the way down to here. I don't think we'll do this. I don't think we'll get to 15. I think people will realize that this is an asymmetric opportunity similar to Bitcoin, and that it's going to have a higher MNAV associated with it. So my max pain for this thing is 30%, but honestly, it could go up beforehand. I'd love to get it at 35. What's the game with game? It's a YOLO. It's a YOLO bet. That's all. And I'm not even going to draw this all the way down to here. I'm just going to leave this here because I don't think it can go that low. But there is going to be massive amounts of dilution still coming. Massive amounts of dilution. I think right now, I don't even know what it is right now. People will have to look. There's other people that post about it. But massive amounts of dilution. Guys, look, we posted the 4-hour chart. Am I pointing in the right direction? 4-hour chart, guys. Sitting right above that fib level. Look at that. Closed right above that fib level. We're actually going to zoom in a little bit here. Who cares about the rest? It's all noise. Look at that. Look at that. I didn't redraw that live, did I? No, I didn't. This is just math, guys. This is just you visually seeing what math does. Jesse, did you see how SQ&S calls are seriously mispriced? I did not. There could be some real opportunity there. Again, I'm staying away from options right now. Am I still in ASST, ass and titties? Dude, why would I leave that? Why would I leave that? No, I'm still there, bro. It's up 5% in pre-market. Not doing bad. Getting above the fib after a consolidation, probably a good place to be. Getting to the high would bring it to 13. I think we might actually have to redraw this. I'll probably do that later, though. I don't want to do it right now. I want to get through some posts. I haven't really done much in the way of getting through posts. I need to put this back to, what is this, BMNR? All right, so let's keep going. Jesse, did you see? Oh, yeah. No, but if they are really mispriced and you can make a bunch of money off of it, I mean, get them, right? Get them. Math never did so much in school. It wasn't taught well. Yeah, right? Simple math can be nice, though. And here's me talking about a short squeeze, or somebody else talking about my comments from this last weekend about a short squeeze coming. Let's keep going. This is beautiful. So HODL15 said Metaplanet bought 3,000 Bitcoin in 7 days. So they did another tranche here. It was not a huge amount today. Chat, you can say what it was. Is CCM still a potential? I still believe it does, but I'd love to see them do some buys. It is really washed out. But what do I mean by really washed out? I mean pretty washed out. Pretty washed out? Is this the high too, or is that the 4-hour high? Yeah, that's the 4-hour high. I had to use the 4-hour here, guys, because this is just such a small time frame of information. I'll probably push this out over here. So do I think this thing is looking to curve up? Yeah, I do, actually. This is the Pompliano one, right? But we need to see Pomp. We need to see you buy some shit, bro. This thing's screaming. It's screaming, I want to go back to 12 in a heartbeat. All you got to do is buy. That's what it's saying to me. So I expect all these they're going to be like pop rocks, guys. They're just going to be like one after another. Once they start exploding, people will buy one. It will launch. They'll chase it. They'll make a bunch of money off of it. They'll start selling that one, and then they'll start shoveling that money into the next one, just like regular shitcoin land. But what I wanted to talk about here with Simon, not only is the accumulation of over 3,000 Bitcoin in a week, but just this pattern here. Oh my God, Kevin Hassett's getting ready to talk about the 30% EU and Mexico tariffs. This is a must watch. Let's go back a second here, guys, and listen to Joe talk
Mexico,
to Kevin.
those are set to take effect August 1st. Join us now, National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett. Great to have you on, Kevin. Hasn't been that long, but I see you a
We like Kevin.
lot around, and I always wish it was with us, but we understand. We understand you've got a lot to say.
It's cheating.
I'll tell you, the thing I'd like to start with, we get so excited about pending deals when we keep hearing last time it was, I think, by Wednesday we were going to have 2 or 3 big deals, and they don't come. Wouldn't it be better to just wait or something? Why does nothing, like India? We were sure we were going to hear about India. Can you update us on that? Or maybe you shouldn't update us, because then we start getting our hopes up and then nothing ever happens.
Right. The bottom line is that there have been ongoing negotiations with numerous countries and close.
Yeah, I don't think people realize it's actually a lot of work to completely rewrite trade deals with every major trade partner on Earth. I mean, don't get me wrong. When we're talking about Trump and the Epstein files, release that shit. That way people don't think you're a pedophile. And if you are a pedophile, maybe there's a reason for the America Party. But when it comes to the trade war and all this other stuff, I think he's been killing it. And I think there's no inflation, and I think it's all been working the right way.
Close to final deals that when the president reviews them, he wants more for the American people. We've got a guy who's the best deal maker in history, who made billions of dollars by, squeezing everything out of deals, and he's doing that for the American people right now. And so talks are ongoing. We've got a deadline, and we'll see how things land. But I know they're going to land in favor of the American people.
Yes, agreed.
CPI tomorrow, Kevin, and a day doesn't go by where.
What was it in June, guys, where we had was it a budget surplus with the treasury or something? We'll get to that stuff.
We don't wonder.
I'm showing 1,131 here in the chat. If you guys could hit the like, super appreciate it. I won't interrupt if you guys just do that.
Collectively, where the tariff effect is, and maybe August 1st things get more interesting, and if people don't come to the table and more things happen. But at this point, we haven't seen the negative impacts either with inflation, really, or the labor market of tariffs. Why is that? Is it because shelter has been a tailwind as costs come down, or oil prices? Why is it that we haven't? Is it still coming, or is it never coming? No, the bad effect on inflation.
The biggest, most interesting data item in this place, Joe, is the fact that the CEA put out a report, Council of Economic Advisors, that showed that import prices into the U.S. are actually dropping during all this. And
who could have told you that was going to happen? This guy. The high school dropout. The high school dropout knew that. Major economists with PhDs and Harvard graduates and Stanford grads didn't seem to understand that people can adjust to the prices of goods and that they will hold back from purchasing, that purchasing behavior would change. I don't know how economists couldn't figure that out. But we're seeing a slowdown around the world, and we're seeing this beautiful thing where China discounts shit and then shoves it out to the rest of the world because they can't escape tariffs, because we're tariffing everybody that they send stuff to. Vietnam and all these other places, including Mexico, where they would just simply take the goods and then do final assembly and then put made in Mexico so they could avoid the tariffs. Doesn't work anymore, guys. De minimis rules. Butchered. Say hi. How's Temu? How are Temu and Shein doing? Not very well. So this is all working great for America, and we saw this coming. If you were here, you saw this coming, and you knew the truth out of all of the noise, and you knew that the S&P. You knew, guys. Chat. If I'm lying, if I'm wrong, if I'm not telling the truth, please tell people. Did I not tell you to buy this fucking dip in the S&P down here? Did I not tell you to do that? Did I not tell you this is the once-in-a-lifetime opportunities? And did I not tell you we were getting a beautiful confirmation here and we were going to scream higher? We're not even at my final goal yet, man. I still think that the S&P, some people say 7,000. I say 7,300 to 7,500 by the end of this year, which sounds fucking insane. I know. I know it sounds insane. I've been saying it for a while. I said it when the S&P, you know when it really sounded insane, guys? You know when that shit really sounded crazy, and then we'll get back to Kevin Hassett? It sounded crazy when I was talking about it down here. That's when it really sounded fucking nuts. Up here, it just sounds borderline crazy. But it doesn't sound as crazy as it used to, does it? Chat, if I'm lying, make sure you say something, okay? All right, let's get back to the Hassett.
And my theory as an economist of why that is
I cannot. Sealess, you're one of my favorite commenters, by the way. Just want to say that. He says, hey, Temu is great for vibrators that catch fire. I'm not going to reference my wife in this, but my wife does have a fear of fire. I guess I kind of already did. Anyway, that sounds like a horrible purchase. really bad purchase.
That Americans, because of President Trump's leadership, have recognized that when they buy an American product, they not only get perhaps a better product, certainly a better product most of the time, but they're also making their community stronger. And so there's, I think, a lot of patriotism in the data. The bottom line is people prefer American products, and so therefore the demand for imports has gone way down so much that even with what tariffs have been there, where people would say, oh, they might increase prices at least a little bit, we've seen prices going down. The other factor, don't forget.
And don't get me wrong, I do believe that we'll see a little blip in the data where we go up a little bit. That will happen. It's not going to matter, though.
That is that if we have a trade deficit year after year after year with a country, then by definition, they're supplying stuff to us inelastically. And so if you have an inelastic supplier and you put a tariff on them, then the inelastic supplier bears the tariff. I think putting it all together, we haven't seen it in the data.
So what did he say? We have all the cards?
And it's been long enough. It's been long enough, right? We've got hundreds of billions of dollars of tariffs coming in. The CBO says that we're now, with the things that are already in place, set for $3 trillion in tariffs over the next 10 years, just about. And all of that, and we haven't seen big market.
And remember, the CBO doesn't quantify any of that. It doesn't look towards the income that we're making. It doesn't look towards us getting closer to balancing the budget based off tariff revenues while seeing the deflationary impacts of China's meltdown. And China is melting the fuck down. I hope you realize that.
Responses. In fact, the market's been going up. We haven't seen inflation responses. And we've got all.
And we're at an all-time high, and rate cuts haven't even started yet. Yes, BGZ, that's what I'm saying. It's fucking crazy.
That tariff revenue coming in. Imagine if we had a tax hike of that scale, how much.
There's not a real. Okay, sorry, Kevin. I really want to apologize because he's like brilliant and has a lot of great stuff to say. ZA says, FYI for those who live in Europe, there's a real chance taxes increasing here. Remember to stack sats and coal store. You guys will see taxes increase. The European Union is hell-bent on it. They want to go full socialist communist and start confiscating people's savings. Some like Cyprus shit. You should be worried.
I talk about that. Yeah, I talk about that a lot. Everybody that hates the tariffs can't wait to raise taxes, but this doesn't count as raising any money. It's really it's weird.
Yeah,
you mentioned
Joe.
We have deficits, so we don't like countries where we have trade deficits. We got a surplus with Brazil. And I won't say I immediately said that we shouldn't be using tariffs for all these different reasons. And Bolsonaro, whatever we're using.
BMNR, I'm sorry, the Bitminer one, BMNR is halted right now. Is that because of the news, like that their deal's going through, that they're finalizing their share count? No, it's not a circuit breaker. If you guys figure that out, let me know.
Using it for because sanctions aren't the same as tariffs. I understand that. And you're supposed to have a legitimate reason or emergency.
So I don't interrupt this anymore. I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. If you guys could hit like, greatly appreciated. Be right back.
Reason for it. But what about that? What about using tariffs for anything that you decide you want to do to try to modify some other country's behavior? What if people start doing that to us with things they don't like that we do?
Look, the president has made it clear that there are a couple of national emergencies. There's a national emergency with fentanyl, and there's a national emergency because of the persistent trade deficit. And one of the problems with Brazil is, well, Brazil is transshipping Chinese goods. I mean, it's not a big stretch at all to think about where are the goods going to go with the sort of 50-ish% tariff that we currently have on China. And so I think the president's right to draw a line in the sand. And again, we'll see what happens with the negotiations between now and August.
Hey, Kevin, so should the Federal Reserve Hey, it's good to see you. Should the Federal Reserve be working with the administration's plans or goals, or should it operate independently?
Oh, the Federal Reserve should be independent. The president has the right to voice his opinion. And the bottom line is that the Federal Reserve has been very, very wrong on this tariff issue. They've been saying it's going to cause inflation, saying it's going to cause inflation. And they've done that while the European Central Bank has been cutting rates a lot because inflation appears, by everybody's standards, to be just about under control. And so think about it this way.
But Europe doesn't have the economy that we have. Kevin, Europe doesn't have the economy we have. We're in a much better position.
If you look at their inflation.
Growth.
Oh, I'm sorry, if you look at their inflation and our inflation, it's almost spot on. It's almost exactly the same number.
Right, but we have stronger economic
and it's come
growth
down.
than they
And
do.
it's come down. Yeah, but the growth is coming from supply side effects of Trump policies, which isn't inflationary.
Kevin, I'm curious if you saw
inflation goes down.
I was curious if you saw this Goldman Sachs report last week that effectively suggested that 40% of tariffs will be borne by U.S. either taxpayers and/or U.S. corporations, 60% borne by the foreign country and whatever businesses are there. Do you buy that in terms of what math have you done, and how does that compare to what Goldman Sachs is saying?
A massive amount is borne with the foreign country, and in a lot of cases, it's reduced sales, and then they have to lower price to increase sales. So it gets really painful for them.
Well, I like. First, I haven't seen the report, but the numbers seem pretty wrong to me. The way I think about it, when you're thinking about who bears the tax, you need to go back to thinking about the intuition of it as if you're just in your economics 101 class. If I buy a candy bar for $1 and I put a 10% tax on it, then the question is, do I go in and have to pay $1.10, in which case the person buying the candy bar pays the tax? Or does the store say, oh, I'm going to not be able to get rid of all my candy bars, and so they cut it down to 90 cents and still sell it to you for $1? And it depends on the elasticity of supply in the end. Like if you have an apple tree with 100 apple trees, you got to sell 100 apples, and so the apple tree guy, he's going to bear the tax. And my view is, my intuition all along, I've said it on the show all the way back, really for many, many years, is that supply from foreign countries is pretty inelastic, so they're going to bear the lion's.
Yeah, you know what? When the Chinese government incentivizes companies like BYD to overproduce in order to be able to crush all the competitors in the United States and around the world and destroy all other competition, and they subsidize that overproduction, and then that overproduction has nowhere to go, and the only thing they can do is dump it to foreign countries where they can charge a lot less for it, and then they're really running in the red. Guess what happens? Everything is fucked. There's a reason why we're very happy to keep the tariffs at 30 to 40% for every country that does business with China and that allows them to be able to push their goods illegally without being tariffed into the United States. There's a reason why we're going to slow roll that fucking shit. And yeah, it's going to turn out really good for us. It's not going to be so good for China. China is in between a rock and a hard place like we have never seen during modern times. Let's just hope it doesn't lead to war. And honestly, even if it does, we just showed bunker busters that can destroy their version of the Pentagon. And that is 10 times the size of the Pentagon. And we could drop bombs in it and turn it into a pepperoni fucking pizza. So if you would have asked me a year ago what the world would look like today, I would have never been this positive. The only thing a couple things I'm guilty of. I was way too aggressive on miners a long time ago, about 16 months ago. I didn't realize the front running with the ETFs was going to be so dramatic, and that they were going to do price suppression so hard to try and get it to where they could accumulate as much as possible. But on top of that, it's that I haven't been bullish enough this year. I haven't been bullish enough. And who would have thought that I wouldn't be bullish enough?
Share of the tariff. And if you look at it, that's what's happened. That's what's happened. And so I guess economics being what it is, maybe it'll change in the future. But so far, we're really 6 months in to an experiment that's working exactly the way the economic theory I described would say.
Just one other sort of point. How do you think about a lot of the...
So many big accounts on X that are supposed to be macroeconomists that said that Trump was such a fucking idiot and that everything was going to melt down, right? Everything was going to melt down. Shout out to Caleb Franzen. He saved me from the BTC miners. Yeah, but then I don't know if for like a while, I don't know. He doesn't seem very bullish on the treasury. Does he talk about the treasuries? But you're right. He did way better. He was very bullish on MicroStrategy back in the day and got to ride that up. But of course, even MicroStrategy has had a period of consolidation that has went on for a while. But that was the real play. Treasuries were the real play. And yeah, even MicroStrategy has been dead since November, right? That was the peak on that one. So there's definitely been a period of consolidation. It happens with everything. And he was in on the treasuries much earlier. I don't know where he sits now. I know I saw him getting bearish at times. I think I understand the macro way better than he does. He's shit-talking treasury companies, which is really weird because that's how he made all of his money. Again, there's just like people... I don't know. There's people that waver all over the place. Let's get back over here, though, before I move on. CEOs
who say, look, we brought a lot of stuff into the country early. One of the reasons we haven't had inflation yet is that...
So it's so weird to me. Sorry, I keep interrupting, guys. But Todd Gleason says Caleb doesn't like the treasuries. He got into a 2x BTC fund. Don't get me wrong. I'm like, a 2x BTC fund, great. But I don't understand how he doesn't get that taking dirty fiat... Jesse, is Meet Kevin calling you? I don't know, is he? I don't understand how Caleb doesn't get that taking dirty fiat and turning that in, taking your stock, diluting it, and turning that into Bitcoin while everybody else is doing it, and you have over 40x demand versus supply, isn't like a really good winning strategy over the next several months when you look at the historical patterns and trend lines of what goes on in Bitcoin, and then you weigh that against the macro environment and the technicals and everything that we're looking at. I just don't understand. That's almost like a bearish take to me right now in regard to treasuries. And to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense at the parabolic phase of the Bitcoin cycle. I just don't get that at all. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't get it. Maybe he can explain it to me.
That we sort of front-loaded the situation and that we may run into a challenging time later when we have to bring in sort of the next set of goods potentially under a tariff regime.
Well, I think that the other argument that I've been seeing, Andrew, is that what's going to happen is that there's going to be big price effects now, but as we get more production into the U.S., then those price effects will go away. And so I think most people expected that if there were going to be a price effect, that it would be front-loaded before the U.S. supply chains adjust and more production is done into the U.S. So the fact that in the period where, in January, everybody was saying the price effects were going to be the largest, we've seen negative price effects. And so now people are speculating they're going to get worse and worse off somewhere off into the future. But I think, again, the best intuition for it is that they're taking a hit, that people are exporting into the country, and Americans have recognized that their friends and neighbors are better off when they buy the products that they make.
I think
Yeah, isn't it crazy that we can buy American products and our economy can benefit from that? Maybe the way that China has. Maybe the way that we've helped the entire world for hundreds of years. People don't give America enough credit. They want to be like, oh, the white colonizer. But China was a huge colonizer. Anybody ever hear that? The Islamic regime was very much a colonizer back in the day, too. The Romans were. There's a lot of different colonizers throughout time, but America. I don't know why I went off on that. America can benefit greatly from having from basically giving jobs back to American people for hundreds of years. We ruled the seas and we made it to where the world was a safe place to trade, and we enriched countries all across the world. Don't get me wrong, since the Vietnam War, we've done some really stupid shit when it comes to war and interfered in a bunch of stuff we never should have and created the ugly looking Iran that we see right now today. From a beautiful place, we turned it into shit. And we did that, and I mean, some of the other places were already shit, but whatever. We didn't help them, right? But all in all, we have been amazing for the world. And then on top of that, we started outsourcing our jobs to the rest of the world. We started giving them to the Chinese and other parts of the world to rise up their economies and take a massive amount of the world and pull them up from poverty. And the way that we've been repaid by that is fucking hate for Western civilization. We gave them everything. We gave them our fucking jobs. We gave them peace and we gave them our fucking jobs, and we get repaid with hate. And none of it makes any sense. And so what we're doing now is we're saying, hey, you know what? If you hate us, this is China. If you hate us and you want to destroy us, we've got a present for you. Fuck you. Fuck you. We'll take all those jobs back. Fuck you. We won't buy your goods anymore. Fuck you. The tools that you use to destroy our civilization, that you thought were going to overthrow the West and make you the global hegemony of the entire fucking world, are now going to be the tools of your own destruction. So fuck you, CCP. Not the Chinese people. I feel bad for them, man. You got what, like 1 billion people? It's probably not really 1.4. They lie about everything. But you have less than a population of India that is going to be going through massive amounts of pain, and it hurts my soul to think about. But fuck the CCP. They need to be overthrown. And yeah, you know what? When you weaponize our love and what we've given to the world, not that we aren't we're not perfect, okay? We're not perfect. Nobody is. We've made a lot of mistakes. But when you weaponize that shit against us, this is the perfect storm. You are done. We will end you.
Intimated that it might be possible to fire Chair Powell. What would be? How does that process work in your view?
Well, again, we'll see how the Fed responds to this incredible cost overrun. The bottom line is, from my perspective, that
Jerome Powell is going to leave.
When the Federal Reserve was created, we were under a gold standard. And the idea that the Fed could print money and then spend $2.5 billion on a building without real congressional oversight, it didn't occur to the people that framed the
Isn't that just such hypocrisy?
Federal Reserve Act. And so I think that we've got a real problem of oversight and excess spending. And to put it in perspective, the cost overrun right now is $700 billion. The second biggest renovation of a building that we've ever had in the history of D.C. was the Federal Reserve building, the FBI building. And the FBI building, the whole thing cost about the same as this cost overrun at the Fed.
Just the overrun.
And so I think that we definitely need to rethink the way the Fed's acting. We 100% want...
These are supposed to be the guys that control the purse. These are supposed to be the guys that make sure that America is good and that we can still control the world reserve currency, right? That we are that for the world. And they can't even manage their own fucking budgets, and they're spending tons of money just making their place look like a fucking palace.
Independent monetary policy, but it sure looks like they need more congressional oversight on things like the way they built their buildings.
Kevin, if you
love Kevin. We're probably going to cut it here for Kevin, though.
For the white paper at the Fed.
And I'm going to move this down. Somebody said that Pomp had just posted something. I want to hear that. Give me 1 second, though. I got to move some screen stuff around because I got shit everywhere. It's hard managing all this stuff, guys. There's a lot of work here. All right, let's find Pomp. Let me do this. I'll do this. I'll open a link in a new tab. I'll go up here and I'll look for Anthony Pompliano. I do love the fact that Pomp is saying something. Let's see here. And Paulina, his wife. She's such a cutie. I love her. She's a sweetie. Let's see here. ProCap BTC LLC currently holds 4,950 Bitcoin, valued at approximately 601, based on 121,500 per. What? They just did this? They just did this? Oh, this is just showing the current value. Based on Friday's close, CCM continues to provide one of the cheapest MNAVs. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, that's true. Yeah. So they're just trying to show that they're a valuable deal. Yeah. Okay. Buy some, Pomp. Show us your rate of growth, bro. That's what matters. The rate of growth is what fucking matters. Show us rate of growth. All right, we're going to keep going. So I am watching the feed down in the bottom. If anything interesting happens, we'll look at it. Kevin Hassett was a great guy. He did a great job explaining. We have Vaults Capital raised $1 million. That's not euro. What the fuck is that? $1.35 million to purchase more Bitcoin. Is that euro? I don't know. The little swigglies, I get confused. That's great. Again, just another Bitcoin treasury company. Jerome Blockland, I think he's an ETF guy, right? Founder of Blockland Smart Multi-Asset Fund, a future-proof portfolio that invests in smart combination of scarce assets, quality stocks, and gold and Bitcoin. I feel like he was a ETF guy. I don't know. Anyway, Bitcoin is unmistakably the NASDAQ on steroids. Look at this chart. NASDAQ 100 future. And then look at Bitcoin. And this is a very short time frame, but it's pretty true. All right, Vivek says U.S. House to likely to vote on Bitcoin crypto market structure bill today. I don't know if that's happening today. If that British pounds, thank you. If that happens, that's going to be more rocket fuel to the upside. Jesse, do you follow Jordy Visser? I don't know who that is. He's another macro guy that's on Pomp show every other week. No, I don't know who that is, Kirby, but I can take a look at it. NL Nico, just in, Tau Alpha to be renamed Satsuma Technology, purchasing their first 28.56 Bitcoin, just another Bitcoin treasury company. And then we've got Metaplanet's unrealized profit going to the moon right now, and people are bearish on Metaplanet. Cool. We got Carl Minger saying, trust me, bro, every broken system ever, Bitcoin, nah, verify. And this is great. So this cunt, Christine Lagarde, and I don't use cunt too often, but she's definitely in that category. She is a real piece of work, and she's just going to tell you that, Bitcoin goes to zero, but you trust me, we are great. What
I say is, number one, those who invest should know. It cannot be this crypto hype where, because a friend of a friend has made X, you think that it's going to work and it's going to continue to increase. It's a super risky asset. My very humble assessment is that it is worth nothing. It's based on nothing. There is no underlying assets to act as an anchor of safety. If the day when we have the central bank digital currency out.
Oh, it's the CBDC. Then we can control your life and tell you to eat crickets.
Any digital euro, I will guarantee. So the central bank will be behind it. What I say.
So, guys, once the central bank's behind it, then you can feel good about it, guys. That's when you can feel good about it. Not the Bitcoin, not the zero thing. You like my accent? Like the worst French accent ever. If you're French, I apologize. But it's Christine Lagarde, so I feel like it's okay. BitcoinTreasuries.net, just in, Japanese public company Metaplanet added 797 Bitcoin. So, again, they're ranked 5 right now. Let's actually see where that's sitting. That should be updated. Print paper and convert it to a CBDC. I know, isn't it amazing? Guys, we're going to do a CBDC where we can print all of the money away and we can turn it off if you do not buy the things you should buy, or if you buy the things you should not buy, which is Bitcoin. Anyway, Metaplanet, number 5, sitting behind Riot, probably going to take another week or two, and then they should be in 4th place behind SEP. This is Cantor Fitzgerald, guys. I just want to talk about this real quick. This is an interesting chart. I don't hate it. So this is one that James is pushing. I was hoping for it to go lower, but then it started forming this falling wedge. And it's not a broadening wedge. It's a falling wedge, and it's actually a pretty bullish pattern. And so once it went down to here, and then it came up to here, and now it's, again, just perfectly testing. I should probably actually bring this up a little bit. No, that's fair. No, this is fair. This is where it should be. So you could see we're right at that line in pre-market, and we didn't quite get above it last week and stay above it, but I think this is the time. So I think SEP is getting ready to have a little baby launch. It's a $460 million cap. I think it has a long ways to go. I do think people like Caleb will regret. I just want to talk about this. I like Caleb. I actually think he's great. He promoted my account a lot in the beginning when other people were not. So I've got huge respect for Caleb. I think he's a good guy. But I don't understand how he could be so right about MicroStrategy when I was wrong and in Bitcoin miners, and not understand that the principle that applies to MicroStrategy is the same principle that's applying to these other Bitcoin treasury companies now. Don't get me wrong. They'll have a blow off top. There'll be this period where they just get butchered, especially the non-good ones. In MicroStrategy, there will be a period where that probably gets butchered, but it'll be at a much higher level than it is today. So I don't understand why you would be bearish Bitcoin treasuries at this point in time when they have the growth rates that we just showed you. Okay? When you're growing, when the asset that you're in is going to the fucking moon, and then and on top of that, your you're growing your stack exponentially. Those are multipliers on multipliers. I mean, look at this. Look at the growth on Smarter Web Company. In a period of 74 days, they have accumulated 1,275 Bitcoin. And at the same time, if you looked, I mean, look at this days to cover. Just all these figures are just sick. Look at how it's been riding above this 4x MNAV this whole time. These MNAVs will go down. Don't get me wrong. Let me show you something. Let me look what else I'm looking for here. See if I can find the chart I'm looking for. So currently running at a 6.3x MNAV. Good stuff. Nah, I'm not finding what I'm looking for. But there's the rate of accumulation on this is sick. It is sick. And I just don't think people understand it. I'm trying to look right now, too, to see if I can find it. There's the Bitcoin treasuries one. That's probably not it. Maybe if I click in here, if I remember correctly, I can look at Metaplanet. Maybe it shows me accumulation too. It just shows Bitcoin. Oh, Bitcoin holdings over time. Yeah, okay. This is good. So it actually shows a little bit of both. So again, just look at these strategies, guys, how these guys were here and now they're way up here. And then if you look at, I don't know if there's a good chart in here, but if you look at the amount, this is probably a decent one. If you look at the amount that they've been able to grow, look at this in February, they were buying 68. Look at this, 68 Bitcoin. Then they're getting into the thousands. This week was light at 797. But they've been getting into the thousands. So the rate of growth is just extreme. And I don't know how you ignore that. And at the same time, and maybe I can find this under Metaplanet, since I'm not finding it readily available under some of these others. Let me see here. Oh, wow. They've got much better tickers than they used to have, or much better data points. But there's something to where the amount of Bitcoin you hold per share, and I'm not finding it right now. If anybody has a good link to it, or if I'm missing it and I just went by it, let me know. But yeah, look at this Bitcoin holdings. Look at this Bitcoin holdings. How do you get bearish when the price has been consolidating over here and you're looking at their Bitcoin holdings going through the moon? How do you get bearish on this investment? And the days to cover are not crazy. Like with Smarter Web Company, let's go back over here and look at that. Days to cover, what are we sitting at right now? 28 days. 28 days to cover to basically get to the point to where it's got the same value as what the market cap is sitting at. That's insane. Morningstar says MKBG. CleanSpark shorts expire in 2 days. Yeah, they don't have a lot of time. They don't have a lot of runtime, do they? They don't. Today could be $1 million day. I would love to see miners go up 10%, and I would love to see $1 million in gains today. That would be so much. If I could get above 6.5 million today for my portfolio, that would be super. I hope it happens. Jesse, why is Metaplanet not doing well? Oh, see, this is I don't understand why. I don't understand. There's a bunch of you guys that just don't know what you're looking at, right? So you could have said that same thing over here, right? Bitcoin price was like meandering. Maybe it was going down a little bit, but Metaplanet was at 712, and then it went all the way down to 293, and then you could have just given up, right? You could have given up at 293 and said, well, fuck it, this thing's going down forever. And then you see this higher low over here, and then all of a sudden it breaks down out of this trend that it was at and starts to explode higher, right? So you could have been smart and said, oh, at 320, this is actually a pretty good deal, and especially if you paid attention to the amount of Bitcoin they were stacking, and then you went from 320 and up to 2,000, right? And you got like a 9x return on your investment here, at least 8. And that was over a period of May 1st to June 16th, a period of 6 weeks. You made 9x your investment. And then everybody's like, the question I don't get during that? Why is Metaplanet doing so much better than Bitcoin? Nobody asked that fucking question. Ever. Nobody asked, why is MicroStrategy doing better than Bitcoin? Nobody asked, why is Mara doing better than Bitcoin? Nobody asked, why is CleanSpark doing better than Bitcoin? Never hear that fucking question when it's going up. Always hear that question when things are underperforming and Bitcoin is going up. So I'm going to tell you a secret here. A lot of people don't seem to understand it. Maybe they haven't been around long enough. But it's important to understand that you have periods of sideways chop. These items are not directly connected to each other. And eventually it will go up. Eventually it'll go up. And you should enjoy the consolidation periods because it gives you time to accumulate. And I just get fucking annoyed. And it's not towards the person who asked the question. It's just incredibly fucking annoying to hear this same question 100 fucking times a day for long periods of time. My heart's fine. Do you understand that? Do you understand how annoying it is to have people ask the same retarded fucking questions? And I'm not shitting on that one person. I'm just saying, listen, learn. There are periods where Bitcoin consolidates. And I just said this earlier today. I said this multiple times fucking today. That we're going to have a period where Bitcoin trends sideways. If you look in the bottom right-hand corner, right, over here, where it can trend sideways now that it's gotten above the fib. And that while that's happening, we'll see outperformance. And so you know what question I won't get later today if it happens? I won't get the why is Metaplanet doing so good? Why are these things up 20? Why is SBIT up 40 fucking % in 2 days? Nobody's asked me that question. Not one fucking person. Not one person has said, why is SBIT up 40% in 2 fucking business days when Ethereum is up much less than that? 0 fucking people asked that question. So maybe, just maybe, we should learn something. Let's learn something. No such thing as a stupid question. True. Unless it is. Unless I have to repeat myself all the fucking time. Every video. Thanks, Jules. Appreciate that. Gnome, friendly reminder, like, comment, and reshare on X to show Jesse some appreciation. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. So, yeah. So, I'm pretty sure that once we jump up here and we're at 2,000 again, and then we start to scream higher towards 2,560, and we get up to 3,800, and we get up to 5,200, and if that happens over a fairly short period of time, 0 of you will ask me why it's doing better than Bitcoin. Nobody. Yes, more power to push up. Yes, it does, MKBG. Again, it's like, I think Kathy Wood says this all the time. People shit on her all the time, but she says that the longer the consolidation, the bigger the breakout, right? So look at it that way. Look at the consolidation as the calm before the storm, as long as the underlying asset is headed up. Bill B, you missed the second part. There is such a thing, lol. Understand why you're asking. No, I know, I saw that. Luke, SBET is up much because Jesse politely asked the stock to move up in price, and it did, and that's what Legend says. Victor, Mark Bentley, playing with fire. What did he say? What did he say? Where is he at? Now I've got to look. We'll let it go. Oh, SPY's up 5% on the year. Why am I only up 24%? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Anyway, so Metaplanet probably going to be okay. And sorry I'm going off, but it's just like, this is a message I want to make sure people understand, okay? Yeah, my balls. Oh, guys, update on my balls. And just my right ball. It looks like my surgery is not going to happen on Friday, so I will be here. They're pushing it off. I'm sorry, that's some kind of weird reminder. They're pushing it off until the end of the month, I think the 30th right now. So I got some time until my balls get adjusted. It means my balls will be uncomfortable, or at least the right side of them. So, but I will be here. All right, let's keep going. I feel like we got stuck on my balls and Metaplanet for too long. Carl Minger, this solves 99% of your problems. I actually 100% agree with this, man. It's helped me out a lot. Work out, study Bitcoin, and enjoy silence. That's what I've been trying to do more. That's why I don't do 5 broadcasts a week. I don't do Monday through Friday anymore. I do 3. Eventually, it will be 1. Eventually, it probably won't even be during the week, or maybe it'll be a Monday, or maybe it'll be a Saturday morning or Sunday morning. I'll probably only do 1 session eventually, and it will be a mega session. Pomp is on CNBC right now. Let's see what that's about.
Under 23 and CEO of Professional Capital Management. Good morning to you. I guess as Joe said.
Yeah, probably, Jules. I'll still provide tons of valuable information, and I'll be doing a bunch behind the scenes, but I won't be in front of this all the time because that'll save me a bunch of time and energy.
If you're going to get
And frustration on certain questions.
to 250,000 or 500,000, you got to cross 123 at some point. But what do you think is happening? What's driving it right this moment?
First of all, welcome to the greatest show on Wall Street. I think that Wall Street's full undivided attention now is on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And really there's three things that drove this move. The first is that there's been record inflows into the ETFs. So last Thursday, 1.2 billion, second highest day. Those ETFs now collectively have over 140 billion.
Pomp just got put on hold. BMNR doubling their ETH holdings to 163,142 to 500 million in just 5 trading days. So they did a big buy today. Was that theirs today, or was that from before? Let's look real quick here, guys. We do have the Ethereum treasury. Let's look at what they were before. Where's BMNR? BMNR. Oh yeah. So pending an update, it says on here, and maybe they're not showing it because the company's still consolidating. I don't even know. But if they have that treasury number, if it's 163,000, that puts them ahead of Coinbase and below Pulse Chain for 4th place. So yeah, that's huge. That's a pretty big deal, guys. That's a pretty big deal. Yeah. Let me look at that one real quick here, and then we'll get back to Pomp. Wow. What a day, guys. Today could be a crazy day. I don't even know that we're done with all the announcements either. Yeah, SBET's not updated either. I believe they're above the Ethereum Foundation. Is that true? Shorts are in trouble. Yeah, probably. Did we get this announced? Let me go to latest. Beautiful. I'm just going to put that in there. I don't know if this is like new. Yeah, I don't know. This might just be reiterating facts that already exist. I don't know if there's anything exciting there. Yeah, but sweating, silence, stillness. My friend, I got a friend named Tony. He's my Asian brother from another mother. I love him. He has taught me about breathing, appropriate breathing during exercise and just in life, and stillness. He's definitely taught me some of those things. He's the yin to my yang. The market sector crypto treasuries are moving at lightning speed. Yes, they're moving at lightning speed, and that's only going to get better. Coincilium, 13.11 Bitcoin, up to 101 now, almost 102. We got Marty Party saying that Bitcoin passed Amazon. Next up, Apple. Apple will probably be a little bit. That might be a month, but we will pass Apple. And then potentially this cycle pass Microsoft as the third, and who knows, maybe even NVIDIA. If we get that blow-off overshoot, we could be the second biggest asset in the world behind gold. Isn't that phenomenal? That's happened before, I believe, and it's going to happen again. Yin to my yin. Yang. Rec Capital says, and again, this isn't showing like a parabolic move, but I do believe it's pretty representative. He's got my 138,000 target in here, and he's got the overshoot to 106, almost 160 before consolidation. I think a lot of that is right. Again, my plan was to be 80 to 100% out of my leveraged multipliers by 100, a little over about 150-ish. Probably still, I don't know if it'll be 80, maybe it'll be 70% by that time frame, because we're just moving way quicker than I would have expected, and so I have to adjust some of my targets. Just in, French public company, the blockchain group, bought 29 Bitcoin. Again, they're up to 1933. Their ranking is now 22. Just so much accumulation. And I know people hate this, and eventually this will break, because I don't know that it's always going to be like, so it's not always going to be representative of future outcome. It might switch at some point and go in the opposite direction. Because like over here, you can see, at least over a shorter period of time, you can see how M2 looked like it was going up. And this is global M2 money supply. There's so many ways to slice this pie. All of them right now are up. But you can see where Bitcoin price went down when this thing was still treading up. So it is possible, but there's a lot of catch up to do. And I do think that 160 seems stupid fucking easy. Simler ain't effing moving. Yeah, again, I think Simler has a lot of headwinds against it between the government going after them, and then also the lawsuits. I think multiple lawsuits from multiple agencies. I think that makes it's a dirty narrative. Even though I love Natalie Brunell, she's so cool, so hot because she's good looking and she's fucking brilliant about Bitcoin, and that is a unique combination. Market rebellion. Wall Street bets, reef of fish, BTC, corn, MicroStrategy, Tesla, and Hood. So you can see all the biggest things that they're getting excited about. And sentiment with BTC is growing. These guys, Wall Street bets, are not the smartest people in the world. I just want to say that. We already talked about that. I love this one, so I had to retweet it. It says Jesse. It's got the cat. It says everything is proceeding exactly as I've foreseen. I don't like to think I'm Palpatine, but yeah, no, I like to think this is a time I've been looking forward to for a long time, and that patience is going to pay off immensely. Poli says 160 BTC is easy, 180 by end of year, then 200. I think it'll be quicker than that. That blow off tops are usually faster. Theo, you see the Tesla cyber taxi geofence area is shaped like a penis? Yes, and that is appropriate. That does make sense. Majette Wade, I love this. Looks like she's talking about African prosperity. She says, if socialism worked, why do people always flee socialist countries to live in capitalist ones? Cubans risk sharks to reach Florida. North Koreans risk execution to reach South Korea. East Germans risk death to reach West Germany. Migration patterns reveal truth better than any academic study. I love this lady already. I just met you, and I love you. And I hope you do a good job providing some prosperity to Africa, because it desperately needs it and has been heading in the wrong direction for a long time and has not gotten a lot of help from the West. Really, not what it needed. Are you buying Tesla spot? Yes, I'm buying $250,000 at open. BTCM up 28% in pre-market. Is BTCM Yoda statue for sure? Nice. Is that Bitcoin treasury? There's so many. Honey 25908, sorry off topic, moving things around, and I'm moving down percentages in portfolio on Tesla. Is there a good ETF for NVIDIA? I don't know. I don't really. NVIDIA isn't something I'm really paying any attention to. I do think that we're going to be buying, we're going to see massive amounts of graphics cards being bought. If you look at Grok and see what Grok is doing, and you realize every other competitor now. So to be clear, I think Grok is the smartest AI on the planet right now. It's not the best though. That probably goes to ChatGPT because of the tool set, and then Perplexity includes like all of them and access to all. There's different things. There's different tool sets that are better than Grok right now, but Grok is the best on the planet in so many different measurable ways. Measurable, peer reviewed, like this is what we look at to measure it ways. And so people are looking at that going in less than 2 years, this went from a concept to a company and is now the best on the planet. We've got to compete against that. And everybody's competing, and it's all about chips. But NVIDIA is a $4 trillion company. For it to go up 100%, it would have to be $8 trillion. That would take up like 60% of the money sitting in money market funds right now that are at record levels. Do you think that's more likely, or do you think that MicroStrategy going up 100% is more likely, or that a Meta Planet or that a smarter web company is more likely to go up, 10x? I personally would much rather be invested in those. Gnome, $10. Highly recommend Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. I'll have to check it out, man. Is TSLL a good move? I'm trying to not. As I take profits from Bitcoin treasury companies, which are treasuries are really the vast majority of my money right now. I don't want to lever in even more into other companies. I'm trying to remove leverage on the way up. That's how I've been successful at making a ton of money and then keeping it. So I won't be levering up anymore. Those times are done. If anything, I'll start to hedge. But I just don't think we're there yet. All right, I'm going to do this real quick, guys. Super fast. I'm going to get more coffee while I do that. I'm going to let Pomps talk. So we're going to let Pompliano talk and see what CCCM is doing, and I'm going to grab more coffee. Be right back.
BlackRock's fund is now almost $90 billion in about a year. They went from not having a Bitcoin ETF to now they have a top 20 largest ETF in the world. So there's a lot of inflows there. Second thing is the options expired at the end of Q2. And so all that downward pressure on Bitcoin obviously goes away. That helps kind of like a beach ball getting put underneath the water, right? Obviously it can pop back up. And then the third thing is that there was a lot of short sellers, and you started to see that build up. And as they got blown out, as Bitcoin ran, you get into this price discovery phase. And if you go back to November, we went from 70,000 to 90,000 in about 2 to 3 weeks. And 70,000 was a new all-time high. What we're watching now is we broke through that $110,000 range. That was the previous all-time high. I don't know if it goes to 140, but it sure is going to make a big move here because you are in a true price discovery phase.
And how much of this do you think at this point then gets driven by ETFs, or do you think it's really more going to be individuals buying the underlying asset?
Well, the reason why I call it the greatest show on Wall Street is everyone wants Bitcoin. Like, this is no longer a contrarian trade. This is a consensus trade now. And so you have the ETFs, you have the Bitcoin treasury companies, you have retail, you have sovereign wealth fund. Everybody wants Bitcoin.
Should we be scared of that? Meaning, we were talking about just economists and analysts. We're like, when the economists have a consensus view, you usually should go the other direction.
Yeah, well, the economists still don't like Bitcoin, so I think we're okay. But if you take a look at, the S&P, everyone wants the S&P, right? And so what you want is persistent kind of price-insensitive buyers, and that's finally what Bitcoin has. And it's not just coming from retail investors; it's also coming from these institutions, and I think that'll continue to drive.
Does it matter what Congress does anymore?
I think that Bitcoin has always been a decentralized asset that really didn't care what anyone else did.
But part of the bullishness was a friendlier administration, friendlier Congress.
Oh, it definitely helps. It definitely helps, right? If you had to choose.
Is the bill going to pass?
Is what?
Is the bill going to pass, the one that's pending?
I think that the bill will pass, but again, the bills, most of the bills are actually not addressing Bitcoin in particular.
Right.
Stable coins, market structure, things like that.
General crypto universe, though.
Yeah, look, obviously having an administration that created the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, leaned into Bitcoin, I think is a very bullish element, but I don't think that Bitcoin was going to go down or not work if the administration wasn't positive on it.
You see Superman named his dog Crypto. I'm not kidding.
Should have named it Bitcoin.
No, it's with a K.
With a K
Different.
after kryptonite.
Yeah. Why would Superman name his dog after kryptonite?
To prove that he can try.
No, maybe it's after Krypton.
Oh, yeah.
The planet.
That's probably what it is.
After Krypton.
I got a
But
question.
which of the bills, there's two bills that they're focusing on. There's one that's probably easily going to get through. The other one will require help from Democrats.
Yeah.
And where do things stand on that? That may be a heavier lift.
So what's really interesting, I interviewed Patrick McHenry a couple weeks ago, and what he said is they split this. It used to be one idea. They split it into two things because he thought it'd be easier to get the stablecoin thing through first.
Right.
He actually thinks that they should put them back together now, that their support, and go ahead and get it approved. I don't know if that will happen, but I just think that there is so much momentum around this that it becomes a situation where there's more pain rather than anything if you don't support this. Like, it is very obvious. I tweeted right before I came on. Warren Buffett is sitting on 5% of the treasury market. Boomers are buying up bonds. Young people are gobbling up as much Bitcoin as possible. What do you think young people care about? They don't care what happens in the bond market nearly as much as they care about what happens in the Bitcoin market. And so I think that politicians are not stupid. They understand that the future constituency that they have cares about this sector, and they're going to lean in.
Politicians are not stupid. That's quite a statement. Can you prove that?
You pick which ones you like and which ones you don't.
Anthony, I don't know if you want to weigh in on it, but obviously we just had Bob Diamond and his colleague on 2 minutes ago. The idea of whether custody for coins should be living inside of a Coinbase style, somebody else doing it for you, effectively like a bank, if you believe that without the FDIC insurance, I should say that up front. Yeah. Or whether you should effectively own it yourself, put it under your mattress with some kind of protections around it if you believe that there are.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's different people in the market. Now, the hardcore Bitcoiners, right, and I fully believe in self-custody. You should have the right to, and you should learn how to actually take control of those coins, be able to move them, hold them, secure them, et cetera. And so self-custody is a key part of Bitcoin and the value proposition to the world. At the same time, we live in a real financial regulated world where there's a lot of investors and LPs that are not going to let a fund manager or a public company have, a CEO who's walking around with the private keys. And so there are going to be these qualified custodians, third parties that people use. And so it goes back to what are you optimizing for and what are the limitations placed on you? Again, a public company is very different than an individual. I think individuals should go learn about self-custody. We should also recognize that public companies are in a different situation.
Oh, BMNR.
Okay. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, thanks, Pomp. So BMNR, I wish I wouldn't have sold it. last week. But that's okay. That's okay. We said that could happen. I needed the cash. It's all good. So BMNR is up 22% in pre-market now, guys, because of their move. So again, this is it's very extra valued compared to what the dilution is. And I don't even think the dilution is showing up yet. That's still coming. But it looks beautiful. It's getting a wicked bounce. 23% upside right now. Probably going to be another screamer into today. Let's see if it's stealing any thunder from SBIT. Not really. SBIT's still up 15%. So people are loving the Ethereum treasury narrative right now, and it seems to be doing really well. Damn, I sold 80% as well. Yeah. Well, just remember, I stated why I was doing it. I stated, hey, this thing could go down, and at the same time, I need money. So just remember, don't blame me for buying or selling anything. You have to look at the reasons why I'm doing things. Let's see what else we got here. So, heir to Thailand's richest billionaire family joins country's first public Bitcoin treasury company. Corporate adoption is accelerating higher. So again, we got Thailand in the game, has entered the ring. Adam Livingston says Metaplanet bears in shambles. Why? Because Simon said in Zurich this week, meeting top asset managers and capital allocators in Europe, with Metaplanet now at 1 trillion yen, $7 billion company, we're firmly on their radar. This inbound interest is real and growing. The next phase of our expansion is already underway. That seems pretty bullish, I'm going to say. SQNS, any thoughts? I'm really glad I bought it last week. I've made a lot of money off of it. It's up another 16% today, and I think it could keep going. Why do I think it could keep going? Because they just bought a bunch more fucking Bitcoin, and it's a $114 million market cap. So it's just a baby. It's just a baby. I'm selling that one super slow. But again, this Metaplanet has launched Asia's largest ever equity raise dedicated to Bitcoin, 770 million, 71 million. So again, they have, and I don't even know how much cash they still have on hand, but it's good. It's good. That means Metaplanet is about to issue preferreds. Yep, probably. Probably does. Nonstop push for more BTC. I love Dylan. He's a good dude. Dylan LeClaire, he not only saved me a bunch of money, but he's made me a bunch of money. And so you got to love those people. Jesse, I have a question, says Jules. Why is SBET up so much in two business? Oh, damn it. Don't fuck with me. Daniel Dibb, can you check out when possible UPXI targets? I do need to get those. I need to get those. And I said I was going to do it last week and I never did. I need to get these charts. I've got them shared, but I haven't uploaded them. I don't know if anybody's managing that within the Discord. If they're not, I can. But right now we're sitting at 6%. This is a weird one because of its just stupid small size. And it has up, this one is 204 million. So it is there. I don't know. It's such a short time frame. Let me go to days. This is better. Let me do this. I'll do it this way. I'll just update this real quick with a trend-based fib extension because I think we found it, right? We're here. From low to high to low. And the quick and dirty is right around here between $9 and $11.54 will be the breakout zone. And if we look over here, you can see some of this. Actually, we'll probably draw it a little bit lower because this is on the daily. And I want to be more factually accurate with the trend line. So we'll turn this to red because this is going to be the ultimate boss. And when it breaks this, it will be able to do better. And who knows, maybe we get like a little chop over here and then it goes down and then it breaks out. But this thing is probably going to be pretty hefty. I mean, it's got a gap up to 760. But this thing can go much higher. It's only a $200 million cap, guys. These things are cheap right now. And I don't know when the narratives are going to kick in. Let me make sure I'm sharing this one. And if anybody, I was. Let me do this. If anybody is in chat, is a Discord member that's an administrator, here's UPXI shared chart. I need to get the wife back in this again too to do this part. But that's the shared chart. So if you guys save that for yourself, you got it. Otherwise, in the Discord, we will display that under that channel. So that is doing good, up 10% on the day. We got some targets on it now. And then we got DFDV looking to break out. Let's look at that one too, guys. This is another Solana treasury. And that one was Solana, right? UPXI, if I'm not tripping. Is that Solana? I think it is. All right, so here we go. So we had this, right? We had this breakout here. And let's see. I'll probably draw just a little bit more. If I looked, yeah, so it looks like we're breaking out of this. There's this other trend line we need to get above too. Honestly, though, this doesn't even matter. This isn't applicable. If we look like we're in a downturn, that would be applicable. But on the daily, we're looking at a breakout. If I moved it to the 4 hour, it'd probably be steeper. This thing's up 2.4% after being up almost 11% last week. It's only 401 million market cap. And again, I got rid of Cypher Soul Strategies because this is probably a cleaner play for Solana, in my opinion. And it's looking to break out too. And we love that. We don't hate the breakouts at all. Let's see here. MNAV is 2.85 on that one. Thank you. Jesse, have you talked about YieldMax ETFs at all and their strategy? I don't really care about YieldMax. No, I don't care. No, I haven't talked about it. I don't really care about it. Yeah, that's probably my answer. Unless you guys can give me a reason to, I do not care. I think it's just greater complexity, and it's not directly tied to the underlying. It's got a lot of the same issues of like a 2X fund. Maybe they're really good at managing everything, but I mean, the last time I remember somebody that was really good at managing their yield was FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried. BMNR up 18% pre-market. Yeah, we saw that. It must have went down just a little bit because it was up 20-something a little bit ago. It's up 14 now, so it is meandering all over the place. It looks like Game is at 15.4x MNAV. Stay the F away. That's actually a beautiful one. I would love to see them buy a bunch of Ethereum at that level. If they're up that high, that would be an awesome time to buy because they're only a $78 million market cap. This is the time where you get like ridiculously high MNAVs. As a treasury company, it's when you're tiny. It's as you get bigger that they start to decompress. And that's where you start to see like a MicroStrategy sitting at a much lower MNAV. What are they at right now? Let's just look here. Debt to Bitcoin. So their NAV is 11%, it says on here. Preferred Bitcoin, MNAV, 1.88. So again, once you get to really huge economies of scale, then your MNAV goes down a lot. And what do we have Metaplanet? Metaplanet's probably a lot higher than that. Where is it on here? I got to get used to where all these are. $2 billion Bitcoin NAV. Where is it? MNAV. Is that on here? It should be. Shares outstanding. MNAV, 3.65. So it makes sense, right? This is a much smaller company, and so it's operating with a much higher MNAV, or I should say much smaller Bitcoin holdings and market cap. So it's operating at a much higher MNAV. And then you'll see it with the others. The tinier they are, the bigger the MNAV. So don't get scared away from MNAV. Not right now. Not a big deal. Could you recommend ways to study economics? Oh, I don't know. I'm a high school dropout. I only went to high school for a year and a half. So I studied economics by just need, right? You need something, you do it. That's how I learned about Bitcoin. That's how I learned about Tesla. That's how I started to get into futurism and technological innovation. After one of the last cycles, I started realizing that macro was going to be a really big thing. So I started teaching myself about it. And I talk about it all the time. So, I mean, you could really digest a decent amount just from the things that we cover on this channel. So you could ask Grok, another great way. Grok will answer all of your questions and do it with a really high degree of accuracy. There is still some ability to hallucinate, but it's just getting better and better by the day. So just ask questions. When I talk about something, if I say SLR and supplemental leverage ratio, what does that mean? Ask Grok. Take some homework away. That's how I learned. But if you have specific questions, I'm happy to answer them and show you different data points and things that relate to it. But I don't know. I can't give you an academic way of doing it. I can't even give you a YouTube video because I didn't learn that way, right? I learned from experience and need. Jules, have you looked into BCTS? ETH holding market cap of 105. I haven't, and I'm probably done looking at treasuries. I've looked at so many. I probably planted. I've spread my seed. and we're nearing harvest, right? So we're going to slowly start harvesting, and then as the season comes to an end, we're going to really harvest. But yeah, I don't care so much. There's going to be so many treasuries, and they'll run up and stuff too. I've already got 23 positions. That's enough for me to keep track of. Prompt Grok to act like a teacher. It's probably going to be a way better teacher, right? Dirk Christensen, we know why SBET is up. You told us and called it perfectly. Yeah, in the 9s, I called it, and now it's like 25. So there's that. Woo, Martin. Bro, how about Mara prediction till end of July? It's hard to predict short periods of time, but it's going to go up a lot. And let's look at IREN too. IREN's kind of, isn't it funny how IREN topped out exactly where I said it was going to? Isn't that funny? This is the weekly time frame, but let's go to the daily on IREN if it'll refresh. Dylan Belt, is today the day we can look at Beam Global's off-grid EV solar? Yeah, we can do it. We'll pull it up here in a second. And I'm probably going to have to bail in a bit, guys. Probably will have to bail in a bit, probably by market open. I've got a lot going on. For some reason, IREN is not... I'm going to hit save on IREN, and then I'm going to refresh it. Did I miss the Smarter Web Company chat yet? I haven't talked about it yet, but yeah, isn't it funny, guys, how I perfectly called the top of IREN? Do you guys remember? I called it over here, right? Why did I call it? Because it had hit 87, which is like one of the highest levels it's ever hit on the daily RSI. It might have been the highest. Yeah, it's the highest level ever in IREN's history on the daily RSI. So it was kind of like a no-brainer that this thing had climbed a lot and that it was time to take my calls off and use that money for other things. And that turned out really, really good. I already looked at Games Chart, so you might have to go back a little bit. Guys, you can use Grok 4 to summarize YouTube videos, and I think maybe even timestamp. It's really cool. But we topped right here, which again, I just wanted to reiterate. And it could still go up. We could still push up, but we are getting very toppy in this, in IREN. And it should underperform some of these other miners after outperforming for a while. And that's what happens. This everything is a cycle, guys. But we were going to talk about Mara, and then I lost it. Where did they even put Mara? Oh, it's over here. Okay. And yeah, we can look at Beam. But if you got tickers, let's look at them now. So Mara, CleanSpark, again, was a very clean breakout line. Mara has a line that really goes back a ways here. That here, touch points, I think it's going to be a third time as a charm. But we have 45. No, not 45. Let me update this because this has already been running a lot. Let me bring this up. So we have roughly, and it was up about 4% earlier, all the volumes underneath of us. This thing can very easily move to this trough in the 21, 22 range, but I think it's going to test probably the 23, 24. And if we get above 25, then we're in a breakout zone. And it's a quick trip to 32, and then another quick trip to 43. That's what I think for Mara. I think it's going to be pretty easy for it to get to 43. I think this cycle, it could potentially get to 64. So between 43 and 64 is what I'm thinking on Mara right now. I'm trying to be conservative about it. There's a lot of other dilution that's occurring because of all the Bitcoin treasury companies. It's really a matter of short squeeze, see where it sits, and then eventually it tops out, but it does grow, and then it underperforms. But if we're talking a 220% market cap, this thing's going to be about 20 billion. That would be high, I think. But I could see it easily going to 15. It's just got the biggest holdings of Bitcoin. Jesse, can you look at game? We already talked about that. What was the other one? Beam. You wanted to look at Beam. I think I have Beam. I don't know why you want to look at it, but let's go over here and see if we have visual stocks up. And then we'll put Beam into here. So revenue's falling. That sucks. Maybe you can tell me why. Shares outstanding, we're seeing dilution. Their cash balance sheet is dwindling down to nothing. It's happened before, but when it happened before, they diluted the shit out of their shareholders. Their operating expenses are weird. Their net income was horrific last quarter. with a net income of negative 15 million on revenues of 6. Their cash flows arguably are getting better. Their forward P is 14. Estimates show revenue starting to go up to miserable 2024 Q2 levels. EPS is still supposed to be negative. EBIT is supposed to be negative. I don't understand. Shares held short have skyrocketed recently. Is that good? I don't know. Announced a partnership with UAE for $75 billion in the Middle East. Okay. And what do they do again? What does Beam do? Look at Beam Global's off-grid EV solar. So I just think solar is a really rough game. And I don't know what makes this company special outside of the fact that their revenues have been in decline from probably rates going up. Well, no, I should say it's probably in regard to like a few things. So I don't know. This company, to me, it doesn't look super interesting to me right now. But I don't know if there's other stuff I'm missing. Am I stupid for holding MSTX? I don't like 2x funds right now when you could just be holding like a treasury company, which I think is going to do better over the short term. I wouldn't call you stupid for holding it. I just don't. And again, I think strategy is breaking out. So if you're going to hold it, this is probably the time to hold it. How to store and stack Bitcoin. I mean, you could do it in any number of ways. I don't think that the government's going to be seizing your Bitcoin anytime soon. You could get a cold storage wallet, and you could also just buy IBIT, the BlackRock ETF, because again, too big to fail. We've reached that stage, and I don't see the U.S. government trying to take your Bitcoin anytime soon. But you could get like a Ledger wallet, put some Bitcoins in there too. Never a bad idea. Jesse, I got August 29th, IBIT, 65 calls, was thinking of closing at 73. What are your views? What's the next target? I don't know with IBIT, and I probably don't even have time to look at it. I've got to go on a hike here soon, guys, and then I've got to get work to meeting with contractors in regard to my existing home and renovations that are being done so my parents can move into it when we move into our new home. So I might stop here. We got about 7 minutes till the bell. I would encourage you guys to jump over to Amit's channel or whatever you normally do during the day. That might be a good thing to do, just to check it out. Sorry we didn't get through all the posts. What is this? Elon Musk says that Tesla would have already invested in XAI if it were up to him. So yeah, he doesn't believe that he doesn't want XAI and Tesla to merge. I'm sure there's a lot of really good reasons for that. But he does believe that Tesla should be investing in XAI, and he said that if it's not up to him, it's up to the shareholders, and that he would encourage that to be the case. And there's a vote coming up, so I do think that's going to end up happening. That's going to be a nice catalyst for Tesla, I would assume. But yeah, guys, I think I'm gonna probably end it here. I'm probably gonna end it here, and let me see. Oh, we do have a good video to go out on, though. I think. Let me just go back here. I think we got a good video for today because we got the little bubble. And since I don't run ads, I don't have to worry about getting jacked up by the man. So we're going to jam out to our buddy here. Lil Bub in the house for 1 minute and 24 seconds while we close. So I love you guys, and I will see you on Wednesday, and I will see you on X. And I hope you make a lot of money today. And if I make a bunch of money, I'm sure as hell going to post about it. Again, we could be in consolidation if you look in the bottom right-hand corner with Bitcoin for a bit. This is usually a really great period for the underlying assets to be able to run when people have looked at Bitcoin getting above a key support level. And then it's just hanging. That's a really good time for everything to catch up. So maybe that'll answer some questions about why is my thing underperforming? I don't know. Maybe you should take something to help your thing. All right. Peace out, guys. Love you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
You've said that you didn't buy the Bitcoin to sell it, but would MicroStrategy ever take some off the table when you sense the market is at a top and then just buy in later when there's another correction? Or do you just plan to hodl through all the 80% downturns?
Yeah, again, I just disagree with your characterization. I don't expect an 80% downturn. I don't think it's a speculative asset. I don't think you can quote unquote take money off the table. The point is, if you have the superior asset, it's going up forevermore, 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 forevermore,
Yeah.
Forever long, forever long, forever long. You know, you're speaking like a